Well, it's only the bottom of the third inning, but it really feels like Chinese Taipei has got to start getting its offense on track. It feels like Chinese Taipei lead for Spain. Night number 1 of the World Baseball Classic qualifier. Spain at the Torpedo Baseball Classic qualifier. Ron Ryan, Roland Smith. We laid out the storyline for you coming into this game tonight. This is the Chinese Taipei program that enters this World Baseball Classic here in 2025 with maybe more momentum than any team ever coming into a WBC qualifier. An entirely new roster from the team that won the Premier 12 Global Championship back in November. And a young group that is looking like a young back in November. 5 hits for Spain, no runs on 3 hits for Chinese Taipei. The home team has already left 4 men on base in this game. But a key spot in the order to get things started here in the third. Where you're going to look at the captain, Chishan Chen, who is in the on deck. He's in the center field. Captain Chishan Chen, Lions, the MVP of Premier 12 back in November, is a grounder. Kicked over at third by Wander Encarnacion, who's not going to have a play. And a leadoff base runner aboard in the person of Chung Yun Chen.
Tyler, so many times in these there's extra base runners. Adds to that pitch count, gives an extra 5 or 10 pitches. We can talk about pitch restrictions, we talk about base runners when you got without pitch hit. Right now we've done out here in the third inning.
That is the thing, you do not want to find extra opportunities for Chishan Chen to bat with men on. And that is exactly what the 31-year-old superstar here in Taiwan will get here in the third. Chishan Chen, Ryan, when we got a chance to watch him in Premier 12 back in November, he put up a slash line that was so ridiculous that you kind of have to look at it a couple times just to make sure that you're computing it correctly. Chishan Chen, who was named the MVP of Premier 12, he slashed 625, 700, 917 at Premier 12. He hit that game-breaking 3-run homer against Samurai Japan at the Tokyo Dome, and he lines one out to second, but right to the waiting Carlos Colmenares for the first out of the third.
And he's so tough with 2 strikes. We saw that in the first at-bat in this game, but just getting a chance to watch him, you mentioned some of the ridiculous week he had during the Premier 12, but what he does with 2 strikes, good contact. Plenty of time, but man, game speeds up quick and short in these tournaments.
And not only that, but I think you want this crowd at its maximum. And
sure,
it certainly is probably ridiculous if you're watching back in the United States and you're listening to this crowd, you're thinking that's not the maximum. But this, I mean, as far as a game in the Taipei Dome goes, this is subdued. You know, these fans, they're not on their feet right now. This is not max volume. Whereas if Yu Chang was able to find a gap right here and you score your first run, all of a sudden you're going to hear how loud this stadium can get. That is the 10th man tonight for this Chinese Taipei team. And Spain has done a good job of neutralizing that to an extent so far here through the first 2+ innings. 2-0, Chang drives it out to left. Back on it goes Quinter. On cue, Yu Chang comes through. Chinese Taipei's onto the board.
And Tyler, collectively 40,000 people just got off their seats. Yu Chang just cut this lead in half. I'm telling you, there is something about this man when he puts the Chinese Taipei uniform on, the magic comes out. Just like the continuation from 2023, some big moments here early in these qualifiers.
That, I don't know if I have ever heard a more perfect description There is something that changes in Yu Chang when he is playing with those colors and that uniform on. And he has just sparked his team with its first runs of WBC 2025 as Chinese Taipei onto the board. And right now you hear the crowd that we were talking about. This is a different level of energy from 90 seconds ago, and that was considerable, but this is where it gets to a point where it rattles you. Fouled back into the screen, or the 2-1 rather.
Now, I'll tell you, inside that dugout, too, if you're a 22, 23-year-old, this is really your first chance of playing a big game for your country. And all of a sudden you see your guy Yu Chang play the big leagues, had the big moments a couple of years ago. You can all of a sudden take a collective breath if you're one of these young players. I've been there before, played in the Olympics.
This one's ticketed for extra bases as well. It's down to the alleyway off the bat of Nianting Wu. Digging around second base. Wu will hold there. He follows Chang's homer with a double, and the tying run coming to the plate in the third.
And there it is, and again, it can be contagious. I'll finish this thought. If I play the Olympics and we're the underdogs, that's for sure, and playing against Japan, and you're a young player and you've got some of these veterans who you watch play, you look up to, and you just don't want to mess up. You play tight. All of a sudden, one of these veterans who's something big just like that right there from Yu Chang, and that weight goes off your shoulders, and you can start to relax and enjoy the moment a little bit more.
We'll get our first visit to the pitcher's mound from Manuel Oliveira, the pitching coach for Spain. You know, to draw a comparison that a subset of American fans would get right now, if you are playing the college football video game these days, this crowd is at the level where your controller is shaking, you can't select a play correctly. That is what happens in this ballpark. And Ryan, you pitched in environments like this in the Tokyo Dome, you pitched here in Taiwan. I remember you telling us this story during the Classic in 2023. When you're an opposing pitcher, there are times when you want to step off the mound and think like, can these people be quiet and let me think for a second?
Oh yeah.
And when they don't, it gets draining in a much more manifest way than just pitching through a stressful situation. There's an added element to it.
For sure. Look, the chants, the drums, the music, it just continues throughout the pitch, right? So, you know, obviously in the United States, the playing in front of some big crowds, it's loud, but there's not I call it the relentless sound of that 10th man you're talking about. And you get that here in Taiwan, you get that in that Tokyo Dome. And you hear the chants right now, it just doesn't stop.
2 balls and a strike. Good pitch there from Leiva to get into the count. Yu Chang Gao, the catcher, out of the 6th spot in the order. The CTBC brothers backstop. Fouled out to third base in his first trip at the plate. He takes the 2-1 down, and it is a hitter's count now at 3-1 with Nianting Wu in scoring position. I mean, we have gone from after the line out by Chun and 100% of this ballpark sitting down, 100% of these people are on their feet right now, and it's first and second after the walk to Gao.
See that pitch count, 59 right now. So, again, we talked about this from the Chinese Taipei team, but for Spain, in regards to how much depth they have, you're going to see a change right here. This is where you start tapping into that depth. If you get deep into that bullpen from that Spain team, hitting becomes a lot easier, that's for sure.
And Chinese Taipei has officially chased Elian Leiva. Leiva wriggling off the hook in the first and second innings. He stranded a combined 4 men. But here in the third, he hits the wall, and Spain will go to the bullpen for the first time. 2 home, 2 aboard. Spain turns to the relief corps here in the third. at the Taipei Dome as Spain goes to the bullpen for the first time tonight, and Ramon Rosso takes over on the pitcher's mound in relief of Elian Leiva. He goes to work against Lin, the former major leaguer, a guy who doubled in his first trip to the plate. 2 runs home on the Yu Chang homer here in the third. And the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes on him. Ramon Rosso, a former big leaguer with the Philadelphia Phillies, out of Santo Domingo in the DR, as you can see. Debuted during the COVID season in an empty ballpark in 2020. Initially signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers back in 2015, was released, ended up finding his way to the Phillies organization. And a 1-2, he blows by the swing and miss of Ziwei Lin, and he's got a strikeout of the first man he sees.
You can see that velocity, 96, 97 from Rosso, but you mentioned the fact he got let go by the Dodgers, had a chance to have a tryout with the Phillies, and man, it paid dividends getting the chance to pitch in the big leagues over a couple seasons.
He was essentially set to give up on baseball. He was back home and was going to work as a mechanic with his father in Spain, and got talked out of it, got talked into giving it one more go, got that tryout with the Phillies that Ryan mentioned, and made it work as a foul ball toward the third base side makes it a quick 0-2 count on Boshuan Wong. Wong singling last inning. There's the man of the moment, Yu Chang, over in the first base dugout. He's the man of the moment in a lot of moments when it comes to Chinese Taipei baseball. He's got his team on the board here tonight with the 2-run homer to left, our first home run of the qualifier here at the Taipei Dome. Ball and 2 strikes on the right fielder Wong. At second base, Yen-Ting Wu, who followed Yu Chang's homer with him, as Wong looks to get Chinese Taipei a little closer here in the third. 2-2. Not going to be able to do it there. Back-to-back strikeouts for Rosso, and that retires the side here in the third. But Chinese Taipei breaks through offensively. Who else? The Minister of Defense crushes a 2-run homer. We'll go to the fourth. Spain out in front, 4-2. New arm into the game for Chinese Taipei as we head to the top half of the fourth inning. The Oakland Athletics prospect
Wei Lin takes over on the pitcher's mound for the home team. Back inside the Taipei Dome, some new energy in this building as Chinese Taipei has its first couple of runs on the board. And the left-hander Lin going to work.
Excited to watch this kid pitch. 19 years old, he's 6'3". Signed for 1.3 million with the Oakland A's. Just blowing mid-90s, just blowing mid-90s fastballs by these hitters.
He is so much fun to watch, and Ryan, being somebody who has worked a bunch of these international events, now we kind of get to be the equivalent of like international baseball hips. Wei Lin pitched in the U18 Baseball World Cup a couple of years ago. He threw 13 innings, struck out 14, and walked just 1. Did not allow an earned run, and that's really when he kind of burst onto the scene. He's still just 19 years old, but the thing that you pointed out is sort of his asset. He is a big-framed guy. He's listed at 6'3", 175, so he's bigger than a lot of pitching prospects that will sign from here in Taiwan. He also has the projectability to continue to add to this frame, because you see him, he's still a little bit lanky. As he continues to add muscle to that frame, as a little blooper to left will get down in front of the racing Wei Lin, and Lin with a hard fall on that dive is slow to recover. He may have smacked his face off of the turf. That becomes the concern now. No, the ball got him.
Man, it hurts.
So we're going to visit to left field for members of this Chinese Taipei staff. Man, that is a scary way to take that baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, on that turf surface, this is a multi-use facility, so it's not quite just a field turf surface, for example, like you might find in a dome stadium in the U.S. They use this place for concerts and for other sporting events, and so it's a little bit different type of playing surface. It's not AstroTurf either, but it's not quite as much give as you might find in some facilities. And man, that is a really the worry, I think, is probably that hits you in the side of the head and kind of rattles you a little bit. Are you all of a sudden looking at, do we need to do a concussion protocol sort of scenario here for Lin? That is scary.
The ball hit him off the side of the mouth, and he's quiet inside this building. But also the deck. You can see the translator sitting there with the trainer right now, just making sure that jaw, he can move it around, taking his time.
Scary stuff. Wei Lin, thankfully, to his feet, and looks as though he will stay in this game. That's great to see. So, Carlos Colmenares is aboard on the bloop single. And Wei Lin will go to work against the top of the order now, and Andres Angulo.
Yeah, Charlie, we're talking about some of these young pitchers with Chinese Taipei. One thing I've noticed, and you mentioned the fact we've had a chance to watch plenty of international baseball, especially this Chinese Taipei team. Talked about kind of their history has always been kind of that third tier to Korea and Japan. The one thing that's kind of always lacked, well, two things, matter of fact, with these pitchers. Number one, the velocity hasn't quite been there in the past, right? And also, too, the mound presence. So, like, watching this young man right now, 19 years old, he has some presence about him. And, look, that's something, you see in Latin America a ton, you see it in the United States, where you got that alpha, that presence, where you're in control. And Lin, the D-backs prospect, who's not here was back in camp with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I was blown away by this young man in the Tokyo Dome basically owning that place. And we're seeing that right here with this young man as well. This is something that is, to me, I pitched here as well. I pitched here a few years back. This is kind of new, watching these guys here in Chinese Taipei, the way they go about their business.
Wei Lin in that U18 Baseball World Cup in 2023 helped pitch his team to the World Championship Final. They ended up falling to Japan at Tianmu Baseball Stadium. This country by storm. And Lin comes from a city where you spent a little bit of time as a member of the Ida Rhinos here in the CPBL. He pitched at Inkjet High School. A swing and a miss there on 3-2. Runner off and moving will nab second base. Colmenares, an alert jump as Lin kind of lost track of him over at first. So a stolen base for Colmenares, but the second strikeout of the inning for Lin, and that'll bring up Angel Beltre. But a guy who, like you said, the mound presence is there, the pedigree is there. He, in a youth national championship back when he was 11 years old, those things that if you are an observer of youth baseball in the United States, it makes you cringe. But he, at 11 years old, won 2 games in one day. He threw over 200 pitches.
Oh my God.
And became, you know, kind of a cult hero after that. No balls and 2 strikes here on Beltre. But all of that to say, this is a guy who has been accustomed to a spotlight for a while.
He's going to get a fastball right here. I want to see him snap off that slider and see if it's big league.
Miles an hour, inning over. 3 strikeouts in the frame for Wei Lin. And we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Chinese Taipei maybe swinging some momentum back in favor of the home team. 4-2 game, Spain leads it. Spain leading Chinese Taipei as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning back at the Taipei Dome in what we knew was going to be a fun night and might already be exceeding our expectations. It'll be 9-1 and 2. Chinese Taipei will send the 3rd baseman Sung-Chen Lee to the batter's box to lead things off. Remember the Fubon Guardians, where he is a teammate. The guy who is the hero to this point for Chinese Taipei, Yu Chang, with a 2-run homer last inning to get his team on the board. Lee out of the 9th spot in the order. Then we'll go back to the top of the lineup. Wei Lin, the left fielder, the designated hitter Chung Yu Chen. Here in the bottom of the 4th. Rosso out there for his first full inning of work after striking out the two men he saw in the third. And a 4-pitch walk to the lead out of a 4. This ballpark, essentially brand new, and it is a wild story of how we got to this point with the Taipei Dome, but it is a gorgeous facility. You can see a symmetrical outfield, 335 down the lines, and 400 to dead center field. They're starting to build up the area around this. It's on a historic kind of cultural park setting here in Taipei. These top-level international events in Taiwan in a way that this island has never had before. But this ballpark has been in the works for nearly 15 years. Construction began here in October of 2011, and this facility did not open until December of 2023. You might be thinking, how on earth is that possible? How does it take 12 years to build a city? Well, it turned into legal headache, we'll say. There was a stop work order issued by the Taiwanese Supreme Court, as that's going to be an out called on Chao Lin, who stepped out of the batter's box or contacted that ball with the bat out of the batter's box. And Lin is gone. So that is out number 1 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. As it'll bring up Chung Yu Chun. The work on this site was halted for about 6 years. Construction stopped in 2015. It resumed in 2021. It was finally finished in 23. Runner off from first, and a fly ball to right field. Andre Tangulo will go back and line this one up to put it away. And that will bring up the captain, Jae-Shin Chun. But it's been well worth the wait. And Ryan, we're lucky enough to have done 2 events here over the last 3 months. This place is as cool of a venue as we have worked in international baseball. And I mean, it stands up there with any other space, especially in this part of the globe, being able to host events like this.
Yeah, and I think too, the Taiwanese baseball fans, they kind of deserve it, right? They deserve a place where they can have these kind of events. They're going to pack it out, appreciate the baseball, appreciate this international competition. Get a venue like this, man, it just makes it all the more easier to make these events happen.
There at the knees, no balls and 2 strikes.
Again, watching as this game flows along, watching Rosso, you know about the good fastball. You're starting to see that command slip just a little bit. And this is what it comes down to.
Runner off, and the throw to second gets away from Valerio. A stolen base for Sung-Chun Lee. And a potential 3rd run in scoring position now for Chinese Taipei.
This is what it can come down to. If you run out of bullets, right? The Spanish team have been potent on offense. Do they have the weapons in a bullpen where they're confident enough to roll them out and then feel good about going into tomorrow? You mentioned the game against
Big spot here for the captain, Jae-Shin Chun. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The reason, by the way, for the confusion a moment ago, there was a batter pitch timer violation strike issued to Chao Lin. So where it looked like it was just a 1-strike count, it was a 2-strike count, and that foul bunt made it strike 3. 2-2 pitch and a flare out on a hop too short. Valerio is there, inning over as he gets it to Jesus Ustari's in time to retire Chun and wrap things up in the bottom of the 4th. Chinese Taipei has left 7th in Taipei. Chinese Taipei heads to the bullpen as we go in. Wu will take over after the solid inning out of the left-hander. Wander Encarnacion, the leadoff man, the third baseman, is 2 for 2 so far today, and the two guys behind him are the same. 3, 4, 5 right now for Spain, a combined 6 for 6, at least in terms of reaching base. Encarnacion reached on what went down as a fielder's choice in his first trip to the plate. But these three hitters, Encarnacion, Jesus Ustaris, Rusber Estrada, have reached 6 times in 6 at-bats. They have driven in all 4 runs, and they have scored all 4 runs for the Spain team. As the count goes to 1-1 on guy who you might not know unless you are somebody who's a big fan of European baseball. He played, as we noted, for Parma Clima in the Italian league this past year, helped that team win a championship. But where he has made his name mostly in his baseball career has been in the Spanish First Division. 1-2 pitch and a liner. He's got another base hit. He is 2 for 2. He's been aboard all 3 times to the plate, and no matter where on the globe you put him, Wander Encarnacion just continues to hit a leadoff single here.
Yeah, we're just hanging that slider. This is one thing the Spanish team, the offense, they get mistakes, and they're not missing them. Anything out over the plate, they're putting really good swings on some of these pitches.
So Encarnacion aboard for Jesus Ustaris, and Ryan, you got to figure the approach is going to change against Ustaris, who's been hunting fastballs early in counts. He crushed one down the left field line his last trip to the plate. Down the left field side, he doubled to the right center field alleyway in the first inning. And a no ball 2-strike count quickly from Yucheng Wu.
Yeah, Wu tried to finish Encarnacion off with that slider, 2 strikes. Stays with the fastball. Sometimes, Tyler, when you come into a game, you warm it up underneath the dugout, you come out, you just have that feel for that pitch. He gets the 2 strikes. You want to finish someone off, get that chase with that slider, but you're a little gun shy. He shook off to it. Let's see if he can bury this pitch. Get Ustaris to swing right over it.
1-2 coming, and another base hit for Jesus Ustaris, who's got his 3rd knock and as many trips to the plate. Cutting the bag at second, digging for 3rd. Great base running from Wander Encarnacion, and Spain threatening now with runners at the corners to start the 5th.
And that's just too much plate. He shook to that pitch, and again, sometimes you just don't have the feel for it. You have to make that adjustment within 10 to 15 seconds, whatever that little mechanical cue is, whether it's feeling that certain finger on the top of the ball, feeling that front foot, whatever it may be, keeping that head still. And man, you keep repeating like that, man, that's good hitting, that slider in the middle of the plate.
So it brings out Weipeng Lin, the pitching coach for Chinese Taipei, a guy who was the all-time saves leader in the history of the season. This season by a guy who is more than likely going to be the closer on this team, Yunwen Chen, as you get a look in that Chinese Taipei bullpen where the left-hander Enqing Lu is warming up. Weipeng Lin, if you were a WBC fan, you will recognize his face because he was the manager of the 2023 World Baseball Classic team for Chinese Taipei. A big hack and miss from Rusber Estrada. Like the 2 guys on base in front of him, trying to reach for the 3rd time today. Estrada, a pair of RBI singles, and a chance to add to his big Friday night. Fouls it back, it's 0-2.
Let's see if he goes back to that slider right here, 0-2. He backs himself through one. First pitch of the at-bat, kind of hung it. That was more of a get-ahead pitch.
Estrada, one of the catchers on this roster, a former prospect of the Braves organization. Takes the 0-2 up and away.
So you can see that ball cutting a little bit too, right? So that's basically him getting around that ball. He's trying to overthrow it. He's made a couple mistakes late in the count with that slider, so you can see Cal, his catcher, trying to get him to go up in the strike zone with the fastball, trying to overdo it. And now he's gesturing, get that pitch down. He has to go to that slider. Let's see if he can bury it and get a swing and miss.
2-2 to Estrada. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Just trying to do a little bit too much right here. Yeah, fastball cutting is not intentional at all. He's just trying to muscle through that pitch. Front side flies open.
Check on Ustari's over at first. This is a big spot in this game. Runners at the corners, nobody out, and the 3-2 is ball 4. They are loaded up to start the 5th inning for Spain.
And he's really good at bats, taking advantage of some of that youth. You can just tell by that pitch sequence.
The 3, 4, 5 spots in the lineup now, Ryan, for Spain are a combined 7 for 8 with a walk. And the one time that didn't go down as a hit was a fielder's choice in which Wander Encarnacion reached and later scored. 7 for 8 with a walk. All 4 RBIs and 4 runs scored so far in this game have come from the heart of the lineup for Spain. And they're loaded up for Edison Valerio.
Yeah, that's a big spot for Spain. You can do some damage right here. You got a pitch on the mound. He's a deer in headlights. He is rattled right now. Doesn't have that good feel. There's no lonelier place. There's a good slider right there.
Pulls the string to get a wave and a miss from Valerio.
But you got nowhere to put Valerio. You don't have that good feel, that consistent feel, that timing mechanically.
Valerio 0 for 2 to start his night. And he takes strike 2. 3 straight 2-strike counts. We'll see if Wu can finish one off. Oh, 2. Not on that one.
Yeah, sometimes too, Charlie, look, yeah, if you just don't have it, you're just spraying the ball all over the place. That's one thing. But when you can get to 0-2 quickly and you can't put a hitter away, you can't even get any kind of chase, that can get in your head just a little bit more.
1-2 pitch fouled out of play down the right field line. Ryan, Spain's up to 10 hits now in this game. That walk to Estrada, the first of the night for the Spain lineups. They have done all of their damage just via the hit column. And they got a chance to put some distance between themselves and the reigning Premier 12 champions and the home team, Chinese Taipei, here tonight. 1-2 on the way to Valerio. Fouled off.
You can see all the non-verbals behind the dish. Again, to expand the strike zone, it's going to get back to that breaking ball.
Valerio able to stay alive. 20 pitches, sorting it out here for Yucheng Wu. And the 7th pitch of this at bat coming up. Really good plate appearances in this inning for Spain.
That's all a good hit. It's depleted right now. He's got something to hit. Break this game wide open.
2-2 to left center and down a base hit. right on cue. Encarnacion scores. Ustari scores. Spain's got the 2 back and a 4-run lead once more here in the 5th.
Tyler, at this level, that's what I'm talking about, right? Exactly, right on cue. Talking about 60 feet away, you see a young pitcher who just looks depleted, right? Cannot put you away, especially with 2 strikes. He's had multiple at-bats in a row, getting to 2 strikes quickly, and just nothing doing. And you feed off that energy. That's what good hitters do. And that'll be it for Wu right now.
Wow. So Yu-Cheng Wu unable to record it out. 4 straight men reached, 2 have scored, and Spain back in control with a 4-run lead. Chinese Taipei going to the bullpen again here in the top half of the 5th. Certainly not the outing out of the bullpen that manager Hao Ju-sung was hoping for from Yu-Cheng Wu, as Chinese Taipei has to go to the bullpen again here in the top half of the 5th inning. They will summon the left-hander Yenqing Liu, who takes over on the mound. Liu, a member of the CTBC Brothers organization in the CPBL here in Taiwan, and trying to clean up an absolute mess right now. 2 runs home in this inning, 1st and 2nd, nobody out. 4 straight have reached and 2 have scored to start this frame. And Chris Quitzer batting out of the 7th spot in the order, who is, as of right now, one of just 2 men in the Spanish lineup to not reach today, and he's trying to change that.
Up a lot of saves here in the CPBL, but
popping up a bunt attempt. That was a self-preservation where that pitcher's coming up and in on him, and the only thing he could do is react and try to get out of the way. And unfortunately for Quitzer, it turns into a pop-up into foul ground and out number 1.
Trying to get that bunt down, get an extra run, but just talking about Yenqing Liu, the man on the mound right now. It is the 5th inning. This guy's used to coming in and collecting those saves, but this is a situation where you have to stop that bleeding. Bring a veteran presence in. The other counts and everything else. The one disadvantage you have when you have some of these big prospects coming from the United States, like for example, the Oakland A's are going to say, yeah, listen, you can use Lynn, but guess what? You got an inning, maybe an 2nd inning tops later on in the week, and that's it. And that creates all kinds of limitations now.
Gabriel Lino out of the 8th spot, doubled in the 2nd inning, 1 for 2 so far today, 1-1 count on him. They're trying to advance those runners to 2nd and 3rd. One's on the inside part of the plate, make it 1 and 2. And that pop out, I mean, innings like this, you get the first out, that feels so huge if you're in the field. I mean, certainly this game far from over, but man, Spain has looked outstanding to start this World Baseball Classic qualifier. And if you can steal a win over the home team, certainly are well on the inside track to advancing to the 2026 World Baseball Classic. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Reno here in the top of the 5th. Swing and a miss. There's out number 2.
That's exactly what you need. First of all, you need a strike thrower, but getting some just quick outs. Get your team back in the dugout. Some just quick outs. Get your team back in the dugout. Get this team something to get excited about. These next couple innings, you got to do it quick.
So with 2 gone, gonna bring up the 9-hole hitter, Carlos Colmenares. Colmenares has been really fun to watch. He's made some outstanding plays in the field, singled and stole a base in the 4th. Reeves to the 1-0.
Shooting in. Maybe not live, they might still be asleep, some of the front office members, that's for sure, but they're going to take a look at some of these at-bats. We saw it defensively on the field too, that good play he made early on in this game. Can he handle that left-on-left slider you're about to see right now? He swung through one early in this at-bat.
Ball and 2 strikes on Colmenares. Lou trying to clean up the 5th. And Colmenares will leave that one away.
Trying to freeze him with that fastball away.
Three balls and 2 strikes on Colmenares. That's going to release Estrada and Valerio with the pitch. A full count, 2-out offering upcoming.
Yeah, and if you're Colmenares in this situation, you've got to be looking for something out and away, either a slider or a fastball, sit on that part of the plate and drive that ball into left center field.
Here comes the 3-2. Runners go, and a tapper foul. We'll do it again.
He hasn't shown the ability to pitch on the inner half of the plate. Get 2 strikes. React to that fastball and shoot that ball from the other part of the field.
And Ryan again with 3 different spots in this game of taking this crowd out of it.
Yeah.
There's very muted energy in this ballpark right now. 3-2, runners go, and that plunks the helmet of Colmenares, who thankfully is okay. But man, that is the 4th hitter in this inning that Chinese Taipei pitchers have lost after getting to 2 strikes.
And look, we didn't see this the last time we saw him in November. We saw plus command, putting guys away with 2 strikes quickly. We're just not seeing that. Tell you what, this Chinese Taipei team has come into this tournament and they look flat. That is for sure. Whether it's the youth, whether it's the fact and they are on their heels right now here, day 1 at these qualifiers.
Man, I mean, not to belabor the point, but this is the quietest I think we have heard this stadium, the games that we've done here over the last 3 months. I mean, it is a very subdued crowd and a very tense crowd right now, because if Andres Angulo comes through here, Spain is sitting real pretty and already sitting well. A 4-run lead here in the top of the 5th. International stage for his native Colombia in World Cup events, and going to work here for Spain on a hitter's count, and it is 3 balls and no strikes with nowhere to put him.
Just nibbling right now.
Hearing some boos from the fans here at the Taipei Dome. Lu's got to come into the zone. 3-0 pitch, and he walked him. And everything is unraveling for Chinese Taipei here inside the dome. A 7-2 lead for Spain with a third run. Second-ranked program on the international stage, according to the WBSC rankings methodology. Now, that does not mean, that's not, you know, like a rankings poll in which there's just a group of media members that vote. That's a point system that is based on the success of teams all throughout your entire team program, your platform, U12, U15, U18, U23, your senior national teams, continental competitions, various international events. That shows you the success that Chinese Taipei has had in recent years. But man, it is a struggle here tonight for this squad.
Yeah, they've constantly dominated, as you know, Tyler, some of those youth events, those different age groups. They show up to every single one, collect those points, get that ranking.
One pitch, and that hits Beltray. I mean, this is a nightmare right now
It really is.
for Hao Ju-sung over in the first base dugout. And everything falling apart for Yenqing Lu.
And look, it's not just for, you know, going 0-1 that first night, losing to Spain, I guess, being upset. It's not just that. And look, just the repercussions this has on your pitching stuff, how you maneuver throughout your stuff, who you start. You have to start getting creative here. You got South Africa, who you feel like you can dominate. You'll be walking into that game tomorrow night on your heels. Have to figure out your pitching. You got to be economical, because then you got Sunday and potentially Tuesday too. They might be playing.
This is wild, man. 4 runs home in this inning and another pitching change for Chinese Taipei. The first 4 men reached and they all scored after getting on against Yenqing Lu, unable to clean up the mess. Third pitcher of the inning coming on for Chinese Taipei in an 8-2 game. Third pitcher of the top half of the 5th inning for Chinese Taipei, as the right-hander Bo Hao Chun is out of the bullpen on the first base side to try to somehow get his team back into that dugout and go to work to attempt to chip into a 6-run deficit, as Spain has arrived in Taipei and taken the home team to task here on this Friday night. A 6-run lead for Spain, a team that started the 2022 WBC qualifiers brilliantly and is doing the same here tonight. A line drive into center off the bat of Wander Encarnacion, who's got his third hit of the night. 2 more home for Spain, and we are all of a sudden starting to approach the territory where we talk about the mercy rule, because Spain is laying the wood to Chinese Taipei.
Again, just another mistake, middle of the plate, staying up the middle. Not how you drew it up. I will say this, Tyler, I was thinking about this as I was counting up some of these pitches. You mentioned the mercy rule. I mean, it's 10-2 right now. If he gets to 7 innings, it's a 10-run deficit. He's subject to the mercy rule. That didn't work, as crazy as it sounds. The Chinese Taipei's favored just a little bit. So you're going to have to blow through other pitches, because you're going to need them. We're talking Saturday, Sunday, and potentially Tuesday by the looks of it, if you drop this game to Spain.
Of the pitchers, Yenqing Liu has crossed over the, check that, only Yongchen Liu has crossed over the 30 pitch threshold. So all of them would be available tomorrow, but man, I mean, that's not, it is not a good situation if you're Chinese Taipei thinking, all right, well, we've used 6 guys, but at least only one of them is unavailable for tomorrow. That means you are in a bad spot, and that's where this team sits right now. The mercy rule applies in a 10-run game after 7 innings. It would have to be a 15-run deficit after 5, but for Chinese Taipei, I mean, that was unthinkable coming into tonight.
Yeah, it really was.
2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the third, 6 home here in the 5th for Spain. 10 runs on 12 hits, 2 remain aboard, and Jesus Ustaris, who is 3 for 3 tonight, is retired for the first time as he strikes out to end the 5th. But a monster inning for Spain. 6 runs home and an 8-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning at the Taipei Dome. Well, if you're just waking up and tuning in to this night 1 matchup of the World Baseball Classic qualifier in Taipei, the score bug is going to surprise you. It is a 10-2 lead for Spain over Chinese Taipei in the opening night of this 2025 qualifier. Back inside the Taipei Dome, Tyler Von, Ryan Roland Smith, an 8-run lead for Spain, looking to qualify for its first WBC since 2013. And a 6th spot in the 5th inning, breaking this thing open as Yu Chang has gone on strikes to lead things off in the bottom of the 5th for his team. And I mean, again, it's kind of hard to believe that we're talking about this, but These are the early termination rules in this game. If a team is leading by 15 or more after 5 innings or 10 or more after 7, the game will end early. Now, an important note is at the bottom of your screen. The home team does not have to complete the inning once that threshold is reached. So let's say we go to the top of the 7th and this score holds to get us there, and then Spain plates a couple in the top of the 7th. This game is over. Chinese Taipei does not need to bat in the bottom of the 7th. You don't have to complete that inning. And, man, Ryan, coming into the night tonight, we certainly did not feel like this was going to be the scenario. It wasn't nearly anywhere out of the realm of possibility that Spain could win this game.
Right.
But I definitely did not think we were going to be talking about the mercy rule on night number 1 applying to the home team.
That's for sure. But again, I keep going back to this. The fact that Chinese Taipei, I remember when I first got the first look at these rosters, you're like, hold on a minute, this is a completely flipped team to what we saw in that epic month of November in the Premier 12 for Chinese Taipei, and then going with this youth, a couple of young prospects in the United States, and I was thinking to myself, man, I mean, this is do or die right now. You can have a chance of not qualifying for the next World Baseball Classic. That's the one factor when you're looking at this.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Yensing Wu out of the 5 spot in the Chinese Taipei lineup. To called strike 3. Chinese Taipei started the 2023 Classic on a pretty bitter note as well. They lost to Panama on the opening day of that event 12-5. They got crushed. A 5 spot for Panama in the 4th inning, 6 runs in the 6th. For Panama in the 4th inning, 6 runs in the 6th. And I mean, Chinese Taipei was barely competitive in that game. And somewhat ironically, it was against a team that had gone through the qualifiers to get there. Panama just blitzed Chinese Taipei on that first day. They rebounded and got a couple of wins over the next 2 games, but still fell short in the end, losing to Cuba on the final day to miss out on a ticket to Tokyo in the 2nd round in 2023. But, I mean, losing on night number 1, it happened then to put this team behind the 8 ball, and it looks as though it's going to happen tonight as well. It's a really good job by Wander Encarnacion, off balance, been able to get that throw over to first before Yu Jae Gao could get to the bag to beat it out. And 3 up, 3 down, Chinese Taipei gone quietly in the 5th. We'll go to the 6th, Spain with a big lead. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of World Baseball Classic Incorporated and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Back at the Taipei Dome as we go to the top half of the 6th inning. We have a new catcher into the game for Chinese Taipei. Xiao Hung Chang will get the nod behind the plate as Yu Che Gao will take a seat. Some time off of his feet, I guess, is the aim here. You know that you might be punting on this game and tomorrow, but man, Ryan, this is not the spot that Hao Ju Sung and Chinese Taipei's staff thought they would be in tonight. They will get South Africa coming up tomorrow. But they're going to need a miracle in this one to rally from what stands as an 8-run deficit here in the 6th. First pitch swinging, Roosevelt Estrada is going to be retired for the first time tonight as he flies out to get things started.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to all of a sudden fast forward, get your head around tomorrow against South Africa, a team that you should be able to dominate on paper, that is for sure, and start to, how you going to do, how you going to figure out this pitching stuff and everything else. But yeah, it's interesting too, Tyler. One thing watching these two teams and watching a lot of the teams that come in these qualifiers. We saw South Africa and Nicaragua today. We talked to the managers, talking about what this means for the development of baseball in that country, the exposure, watching some of the youth players, watching these, their heroes playing, whether it be South Africa, or especially Chinese Taipei, just paying around the crowd right there. You saw a lot of the young teams. Well, this Spanish team, you got to wonder, a lot of these guys, they're not from Spain, right? It's not a situation where you're trying to build essentially the youth program. I'm sure you are to some extent, but all these guys are from the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, a couple of guys from Nicaragua as well. They just mean so much outside of just getting to the World Baseball Classic.
4-pitch walk issued to Edison Valerio. Here's a look at some of the elements of this Spain roster. Just one Spanish-born player. Everybody else from other places, primarily Latin America. And the one American-born member of the roster, Chris Quitzer, as well. But, as we noted, this 28-man roster, 24 players with Spanish passports, guys who have played in Spain, have lived in Spain. One of the guys we talked about earlier, who was a member of this coaching staff as the national team's training camp got started, Adam Jones, the former big league star with the Baltimore Orioles. Adam Jones, now a resident of Spain, lives in Barcelona. I remember when that news was announced and everybody was like, wait, Adam Jones is coaching for Spain? What is that? Well, he lives in Spain now. So getting involved in the international game. I mean, Mr. WBC, of course, with his indelible moment back in 2017, robbing Manny Machado at Petco Park in one of the biggest highlights of all time in WBC history, and a guy who from that point has really leaned into his role in spreading the game internationally. And the reason why, he's helping out with the Spain team, that's where he lives now. And that's sort of the storyline for a lot of these guys. They've moved over there, they've played over there, they've got roots, family who have moved, been from Spain, emigrated to other countries. So it's not as though these are guys without any tangible connection to Spain. Might not be their birthplace, but guys who have come together and really, since falling short of their goal to qualify for the 2023 World Baseball Classic, they have been mowing down the challenges in front of them. The next year, they got together and won a European Continental Championship for the first time since 1955. As a broken back pop-up left side, should be no trouble over there for Henry Chuka. Chris Quitzer is retired, and that'll bring up Gabriel Lino. But man, I mean, Ryan, you talk about getting yourself in the right position. This is the toughest matchup for the three other teams coming in. Playing against Chinese Taipei, the home team has the most advantageous schedule. They play the night game every night. They get to play in front of this crowd. If you can get one over the host squad, you're feeling great. And Gabriel Lino turns on one and hammers it out to left, and it is a 10-run lead. It's 12-2.
Tyler, not just get that first win, get one over from this host country, but essentially really mercy rule and 10-run lead for Spain, making a statement here on day one.
100 as Gabriel Lino demolishes his team's first home run of the 2025 Classic out to left. And Ryan, it's so weird. I mean, we're talking about the storylines as they pertain to Chinese Taipei, the way they started so slowly in the 23 Classic. For Spain, this is somewhat reminiscent of that beatdown win they had over the Czech Republic. Now, albeit that was on the second day of the 2022 qualifiers in Regensburg. They hung 21 runs on the Czechs in that game in a 21-7 win. And the Czech Republic had to rally late just to get that thing back to within 15 runs to make sure that it didn't end after 5 innings. And, I mean, this is quite a powerhouse showing tonight from Spain. The Carlos Colmenares takes ball 2 up high. This is the best case scenario type of start for Nelson Prada and his guys, especially knowing that they've got to turn around and play the afternoon game with a 12 o'clock first pitch tomorrow against Nicaragua, which is coming off of a walk-off win today. 2-2 in the air. Chen is there, and that'll do it for Spain in the 6th. But a 2-run homer by Gabriel Lino that screams off the bat at over 107 miles an hour. And Spain leads it by 10 through 5.5. Bottom of the 6th inning, Siwei Lin leading things off for Chinese Taipei as his team finds itself in a stunner of a score right now. 12-2, Spain dominating this game. Chinese Taipei has not recorded a hit since Yensing Wu doubled following Yu Chang's homer in the 3rd, but they'll get one here as Siwei Lin leads off with a single, and the home team has a man on to get things started in the 6th.
Yeah, I mean, just stay alive. Look, it's a tough climb coming back, 10 runs down, but you don't want to be mercy ruled. Night number 1 here at the Taipei Dome, trying to get back to the World Baseball Classic. That is for sure in front of your home team, home fans.
Will Rosso, who has gotten a chance to just go out there and get his team outs, coming up on 40 pitches here. His next one will be his 38th. He entered this game in relief of Elian Leyva, who was chased following a walk issued to Yuche Gao in the 3rd. In that inning, Chinese Taipei started it trailing 4-0. They got a leadoff man on an error. And then after Chashan Chen lined out sharply to second base, it was homer, double, walk. Elian Leyva was... They're going to get this thing figured out. That has not been the case. Since then, just one man had reached prior to Lynn's leadoff single a moment ago. And Rosso has been outstanding. Hasn't had to deal with much traffic. Hasn't had to deal with really any stress. He's got a 2-2 count on Pochun Wong.
Yeah, it's just that fourth inning, that leadoff walk, all of a sudden you think to yourself, okay, we talked about, is that command starting to slip? He's able to pick it back up and blow that fastball by a few hitters.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Wong. Vicente Campos and Fernando Baez, the two throwing in the Spain bullpen. Stay full on Wong. Wong signaled in the second inning, and Ryan, another thing that you really think about in this game, Chinese Taipei stranded 7 in its first 3 innings at the plate. Missed some big early chances in this game. And a swing and a miss. Wong is gone. That is the 6th strikeout in relief now for Rosso. And one away for...
Right now, they're going to mess with it, push it past 50. That means he's done for the rest of this qualifier. He has looked good. He's got that plus velocity, enough command, overpowering. There's that good fastball just getting by hitters.
9-hole hitter Jung Chen Lee. These fans just desperately trying to will this offense to life here in the 6th. But Ryan, you made a point a little while ago that, you know, it almost feels like if you're Chinese Taipei and you do get mercy ruled in this game, it'll save you some arms that would pitch in the 8th or 9th. I mean, if you get a run here and you have to, because that's 2 more innings of work that your bullpen is going to have to perform, as a strikeout there of Lee will send us back to the top of the order.
Well, think about how big Sunday is going to be, right? You got Chinese Taipei taking on Nicaragua. Let's say that this stays the way it is, and they're going to drop that. You're going to see a pitching change right here to keep him, because Sunday is going to be huge. Spain have to just take care of South Africa. Let's say they hypothetically they lose tomorrow, take care of South Africa, they are good to go back in the World Baseball Classic. So see Prada right now, he's in the driver's seat. Big thanks to that man, high-fiving his teammates as he walks off.
After a great Friday night in Taipei, Spain's going to the bullpen with a 10-run lead in the 6th. New arm into the game for Spain as we move along in the bottom of the 6th inning is the right-hander Vicente Campos. La Guaira, Venezuela, who will go to work against Chao Lin. You see that scrape on the left side of Chao Lin's chin. He took a little flare to left field off of the chin after a diving effort to try to make the catch, and he ropes this one past Jesus Ustaris and down the right field line. Rounding second, Chao Lin digs for third. He's in there, and it is first and third now with 2 gone in the bottom of the 6th. First hit of the day for Lin out of the leadoff spot.
Yeah, sneaking by him, just too much extra velo if that ball was on the ground. And that's a tough play you're going to react on right there for your Ustaris.
So first and third with 2 away for Chung Yu Chun. The designated hitter out of the 2 spot of the order, 0 for 3 tonight. But he did reach on an error and score on Yu Chang's homer in the 3rd. And I mean, this is just of a night with Spain doing everything right to this point. Fans are back into it, trying to get this team some life here in the bottom of the 6th. Campos lines up the 0-2. Foul ball will keep Chun alive. Another 0-2 pitch to left and snared before it could get by Encarnacion. And the inning is over. Encarnacion, cat-like over at third base, pulls in the liner from Chung Yu Chun. It has been that kind of night for Spain. Everything going right for the representatives from Europe. And we head to the top half of the 7th in a 10-run game. Going to the top of the 7th inning in a game that has been all Spain tonight at the Taipei Dome. A 12-2 lead for the world's number 24 ranked national team program as a new arm into the game for Chinese Taipei. And this is a weird one because this is the guy who we initially heard start this game tonight, Shang Chung Shu, who will get the nod. One of the brightest young stars in Taiwanese baseball powers in a first pitch fastball for strike one. And we heard there was potentially an injury at play, which is what lifted him from the start, but he's out there now. And it does kind of make you wonder, why do you not go with this arm if this was your best positioned guy for this game? And presumably we'll learn, some reasons over the coming hours and days or so as the Taiwanese media covers this finish. But man, this is strange. And to use him in this circumstance also, why use him now in a 10-run game?
I mean, the only thing, I'm trying to figure this out because this is strange, but the only thing I can think of is, all right, these next couple games, as we know, crucial. Get those W's. Get him out there for an inning. Get loose. Get his rhythm, his timing, whatever it may be. Get some work in. We're going to need you, say, Sunday.
That one's back to the mound and off of his glove, and a terrific effort by Yu Chang, but that's going to be an infield single for Angel Beltre.
Now, looking ahead, Tyler, as we look at the schedule, I mentioned Sunday is going to be for multiple reasons. But some of the implications here for Chinese Taipei, we talked about the World Baseball Classic. They put themselves on the back foot because of that first game in the game against Cuba. But look at the runs they've given up. When we have a tiebreaker situation, which is looking ultimately like this could be the situation, Nicaragua gets another win, Spain gets another win, Chinese Taipei takes care of the next two, whatever it may be. All of a sudden, the runs given up is going to be crucial.
I mean, that really is.
They've given up 12.
One thing that looms very large right now for Chinese Taipei, let's, just to theorize, Spain has to turn around from this game, play a really good Nicaragua team tomorrow in less than 15 hours. It's you got to get back to the hotel. You're coming off the energy of a game like this. You got to sleep fast, get to the ballpark a little bit earlier, get ready to go. But let's say tomorrow is a tough turnaround for Spain and they drop that game to Nicaragua. All of a sudden, Nicaragua is 2-0. Spain's 1-1. If Chinese Taipei takes care of business tomorrow night against South Africa, they're 1-1. Then say the Chinese Taipei goes 2-1 tie as a 3-6-1 double play off the bat of Wander Encarnacion will wrap things up here in the 7th. Wander Encarnacion retired for the first time today, and hopefully is okay out beyond first base. Man, I thought for a second maybe that was just a frustration thing, but the training staff hustling to Encarnacion out past first, and that will do it for Spain here in the 7th. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Chinese Taipei needs a run to keep it going. Wander Encarnacion retired for the first time today on that double play ball. 3-6-1 turned to end the top half of the 7th inning, and we've got some changes because of it. Carlos Colmenares will move over to third base for Spain as Encarnacion's day is done, and a new infielder has entered this game. I believe that is Edgar Rondon, who is out at second base. It is Rondon, but at least one run in this inning to keep this going. They are 3 outs away from being run ruled on the first night of the World Baseball Classic qualifier at the Taipei Dome.
And this man right here batting, he's going to pick up his best motivational speech tonight after the game with his young crew, the captain of his team.
Jishan Chen lifts one down the left field line. This one slicing away from a pursuing Chris Quitzer. And check that, it's not Quitzer, a new left fielder into the game for Spain as well, as that one bounds down, and a leadoff double for Jishan Chen gets things started here in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
Again, Tyler, where I get it, you don't want to get mercy rule, but do you want to continue going? You're going to need pitching next couple nights.
So the leadoff man in scoring position, and it brings up Yu Chang. First pitch to him is strike one. New left fielder into the game is Frank Hernandez, who is out there in place of Quitzer. And quickly, no balls and 2 strikes on Chang. And yeah, I mean, Ryan, the conversation that we've had a little bit is obviously you don't just want to give up on a game if you're Chinese Taipei, but how well does it serve you to potentially lose a 12-3 game in 9 innings and have to figure out pitchers to get the next 6 outs versus ending this thing earlier and saving as many arms for tomorrow as you can in what is now really amounting to maybe not quite a must-win, but basically a must-win against South Africa. Back in the 3rd, it looked like the Minister of Defense had come to rescue his guys yet again, just like he did in the 2023 World Baseball Classic. Yu Chang leaving the yard. That cut a 4-0 deficit to 4-2. And it felt like, all right, we got a ball game now. And since then, it has been all Spain in this one. 8 runs tacked onto that lead, 6 of them in the 5th inning, and then what could be the 2 game-deciding runs on Gabriel Lino's 2-out homer in the 6th. And here in the 7th, Chinese Taipei trying to cash in the leadoff double from Jishan Chen, and he's going to advance to 3rd on a very wild pitch.
This ball just slips away. That was a breaking ball. See that ball, just no chance.
So Chen 1 station away. He can keep this game going, and will if he scores. As Chang lifts one in the air out to right. That may well be deep enough. Angulo there, tagging but holding Jishan Chen as he's back into the bag. So just a fly out for Yu Chang.
The ball he can handle. You know, Tyler, people have asked me in the past, you know, when you lose in a game like this, you just kind of like check out and say, you know what, okay, let's think about tomorrow. I'm telling you right now, we've talked about the strategic effect of, you know what, get mercy rule. That means you can save some arms in the 8th and 9th inning. I'm telling you right now, offensively, even this pitching staff, every element of your team, they don't care. You do not want to be mercy ruled in a situation here in your home ballpark.
And they're not going to be, at least here in the 7th. An RBI single for Nianting Wu brings home Jishan Chen, and it's a 9-run game. So this thing will go to the 8th at least, as Chinese Taipei stays alive on the RBI single by Wu.
Look, so we've talked about the energy in this ballpark, right, a lot. Just how deflated, whatever. 12-3 right now. Now I'm looking around, everyone's on their feet. Score a run, everyone's fired up, like they just tied it up.
Man, and we saw that, I mean, the last day of Pool A in the 2023 Classic as well, when Chinese Taipei needed that win over Cuba and honestly got pretty well dominated. They gave up 6 runs in the first. Back to the mound, out number 2, as the backstop is retired. I remember that too. It's a 7-0 game going to the 9th. Nobody had left. They're on their feet. They're loud, trying to get their team back into it. Didn't end up working out in that game. And for the moment, it remains pending if it'll work out tonight, as a 10-run game has dipped to 9 here in the 7th, and Chinese Taipei with another man in scoring position for Ziwei Lin. Lin couldn't hold up there, 1-1 on it. This is the noise in a ballpark in Taipei in a game the home team is losing by 9 runs in the 7th. Strikes on Ziwei Lin. In the air to center. Beltre got a late jump on it, but back onto the track. He's able to pull it in, and that'll do it for Chinese Taipei in the 7th. But 1 run will keep this game going. We head to the 8th, and Spain's lead sits at 9. 12-3 our score on a dominant night for Spain here at the Taipei Dome. Moving into the top half of the 8th inning, a new arm into the game for Chinese Taipei. Yunwen Chun will be the latest reliever to come into this game for the world's #2 ranked had more struggles than you might suggest for the world number 2 tonight. They trail it by 9 as we go to the 8th. Jesus Ustaris will lead things off for the home team. The first pitch is there for a strike to him. Got to issue a correction for something we were talking about last inning. We mentioned that Xiangsheng Xu came on in relief, and we were talking about how he was the originally slated starter for tonight. That was the other Xu on this roster, Ro Shi Xu. So the miscommunication of, well, why are you throwing him here in this game if he was going to start and he ended up not being able to start? That was the other Xu on this roster. As the flyout will get things started here for Ustari. So it makes a little bit more sense with that confusion that it was not the originally slated and then scratched starter. As Roosevelt Estrada will step into the batter's box. The engine of this lineup for Spain, which after their third trip to the plate had gone a combined 7 for 8 with a walk, and had reached all 9 times they had gone to the plate and had scored 7 combined runs. We got a pitch timer violation on the reliever for Chinese Taipei here. First day, which, you know, somewhat to be expected. It's different mechanics that you're working with here for these WBC games than in the CPBL or certainly in the Spanish First Division and elsewhere. Oh, and a strike on Estrada. Risberg tonight, 2 for 3, 3 RBIs in his first 2 trips to the plate. He also walked and scored a run in the 5th inning. All Spain tonight, 12 runs on 14 hits. And there is no man prouder than a guy who is tuned in Barcelona. Right now, and that is the hitting coach of this team, Adam Jones, who certainly did some really good work with this squad during his week with them in Barcelona, because, man, to come out and turn out 12 runs on 14 hits against this pitching staff on the first night.
It's the Adam Jones hitting clinic. Week long.
Heck of a start for these guys. Full. 3-2 pitch. Playable. Might get into foul ground. Actually will stay fair as Sun Shen Lee puts it away. 2 gone.
You mentioned all the pitches, Tyler. They've all pretty much stayed under 30 pitches. Things are available tomorrow. However, you get to a situation against South Africa if you're Chinese Taipei and you have to start burning through that bullpen. Talk about Sunday, how important that is. Chinese Taipei have got Nicaragua coming up on Sunday. So you're going to be very efficient tomorrow night.
No balls and a strike on Edison Valerio. Another guy who's been, I mean, you can say this up and down the lineup for Spain. Another guy who's been really good tonight at the plate, Valerio. RBI single and a run. He walked and scored what right now is one of Spain's final 2 runs on the 2-run homer cranked by Gabriel Lino in the 6th. A ball that got Xiaohong Chung behind the plate. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and obviously 2 outs, bases empty, it might not come into play here, but if Spain tacks on 1 right now, this game is over. Once you get to the end of the 7th inning, when a team hits that 10-run lead threshold, the home team does not need to bat to complete the bottom of that inning. It's just over when you reach 10 runs. And Spain sits on the doorstep of that right now with a 12-3 lead. Valerio waiting and a 1-2 up and in. balls and 2 strikes. Fourth down offering coming from Chun, and it's line foul. Valerio will get another crack at it.
I think to keep in mind too, we got a chance to see Elion Leva pitch to start this game against Spain. This is a showcase for a lot of these hitters. I know a lot of them play.
Up the middle from Valerio, and he's on with a 2-out single as the potential game-ending run.
But a lot of these Spanish hitters, man, this is a showcase for them too. This part of the world, there's a chance to play really good baseball, whether it's here in Taiwan, in Japan, Korea. So you come rake against plus velocity, all of a sudden you got Japanese scouts, Korean scouts paying attention.
That's one of the things Adam Jones said he communicated to these guys, is that there are teams across the globe that are always looking for players, and teams that are especially trying to find sort of that next undiscovered talent.
Well, I mean, Elion Leva signed a deal.
The amount of times that we have seen those stories, whether, it's here in Taiwan or in Korea or in Japan, or the stories that have come to Major League Baseball. A really good friend of yours, Peter Moylan. His career, of course, launched by the 2006 World Baseball Classic.
Great example.
No pitch, 2 balls and no strikes.
I mean, that story is incredible. Peter Moylan played rookie ball, got released. 8 years later, he's pitching the World Baseball Classic, signs with the Braves. That year's in the big leagues. Unbelievable.
2-0 pitch outside, 3 balls and no strikes. Frank Hernandez, who entered this game in left field in place of Chris Quitzer. Man, I don't know where that one missed. And that is ball 4. Might have been. So Hernandez, I guess, just a little bit out of the zone of that lower board. That's a pretty good pitch.
No challenge system just yet. We're seeing that spring training in the U.S. about to be implemented. What do you think of the challenge system, Tyler?
I love it.
I love it too, man. I think it's great.
It takes so little. I saw this posted today by fantastic baseball writer J.J. Cooper of Baseball America, who said, for anybody complaining for the last several years in the minor leagues, it is a much quicker decision to go to a review and have a pitch tracked and immediately spotted where it landed in or out of the zone than an argument about balls and strikes. It's so much quicker. It's so efficient. I really like it. 1-1 pitch inside. 2 balls and a strike now on Lino.
I mean, every guy in AAA who I've come across during the 2024 season, pitchers, hitters, hey, the challenge system, love it straight away. There's zero hesitation.
So
absolutely love it.
Last year at the AAA National Championship game, broadcast got to do here on MLB Network with Jim Callis, MLB Pipeline, and we talked about it a lot. It just, if you don't know that it is in effect, you might not even realize that it happened. It's so seamless and it's so quick. As the 3-1 is lifted out to right. Boshun Wong back and now in. We'll put it away, and that'll send us to the bottom of the 8th. Chinese Taipei, they still trail it big, but they'll get at least 3 more outs to work with as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning in a 12-3 game at the Taipei Dome. the Taipei Dome. We are headed to the bottom of the 8th inning in a game that has been absolutely dominated by Spain. And as we head into the bottom of the 8th, new arm into the game for this 9-run leading Spanish national team. Fernando Baez will take over on the mound out of Sabana Grande de Palenque in the Dominican Republic. Tyler Mon, Ryan Roland Smith. It has been all Spain all night, and really since Jump Street. 2 runs in the top of the 1st inning for Spain. Lead never got smaller than that. They let it 4-0 going to the bottom of the 3rd. Chinese Taipei got 2 back on a Yu Chang home run there. But then Spain added 6 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th. China Taipei keeping this game going with a run in the bottom of the 7th inning. But here in the 8th, Spain fully in command. Leadoff man for Chinese Taipei, Poshun Wong. 1 for 3. Everybody thought that was strike 2. Wong didn't even leave the batter's box, and now he will, and he'll head up to...
Yeah, one thing too is this game gets late. Approaching the 3-hour mark. The one thing with these umpires, staying consistent with this zone. It's been a little tight throughout this game.
Here is Sung-Chen Lee. 0 for 2 with a walk and a stolen base out of the 9 spot. You know, the thing they say about baseball, of course, there's no clock, and as long as you can keep hitting and keep the sun in the sky, but for Chinese Taipei, the sun is very, very close to setting here tonight. Even with 9 hits on the board, the story of this night for Chinese Taipei is missed opportunities. They have left 10 men on base, and 7 of those were in their first 4 innings. I mean, it was a 4-2 game after the 4th, and Chinese Taipei had left 7 on. Pitch there for a called strike 1. And 3-1 in the air on the left side. That'll stay in fair territory where Carlos Colmenares gobbles it up for the first out of the 8th.
Yeah, I think with that man right there too, the manager's saying, you talk about all the pitches staying sub 30 pitches, and you got availability, everything else. However, when you're rolling in these next couple days, you got to essentially look these guys in the eye or figure out who is going to step up in regards to throwing strikes. Who's going to step up, put someone away with 2 strikes? You had so much success just a couple months ago in November, whereas essentially automatic. You have so many different options. It's tough because you have to make those decisions and follow your gut, especially when these next couple games are so crucial because they are on their heels because of the runs given up. If this is the time, very easily could be.
Chow and Lin back at the top of the order in the 1st inning on a terrific play by Carlos Colmenares on a bounding ball back up the middle. Fields, 3-1. I mean, it is certainly not the way that Chinese Taipei wanted to start this World Baseball Classic qualifier, but for those of us who are lucky enough to just get to watch and be part of this event, it's exciting to think of the storylines that are to come, because after tonight, we've already got 4 teams with very distinct storylines. Nicaragua is able to outlast South Africa. Obviously, a big win for Nicaragua. To get the first one is a fly ball to center field. Well struck. Beltre got a great jump on that one, and he's there to put it away. But South Africa played really, really well today. And that team, I mean, I think ordinarily you would look at South Africa and think they're going to be overmatched on more nights than not. If they can do the things that they did on the pitcher's mound today, which is continually throw strikes. They did not issue a walk until an intentional walk in the 10th inning. South Africa played really good baseball. They were fundamentally sound. They didn't get the big hits that they needed, but that team could make some noise here. Nicaragua, same deal. Terrific work on the pitcher's mound. They come through late. They get a big win. And obviously Spain, best case scenario kind of start after this. 2 years ago, a loss on night number 1 puts you behind the 8 ball, but you still can control your own destiny, at least in terms, at the very least, of getting into that game on Tuesday with your games over the next. I mean, there are going to be a whole lot of fun storylines to follow over the next few days. We are just getting started here in Taipei.
How many times we come into these tournaments and we sort of outline what we think is going to happen. Chinese Taipei, they're the favorite. South Africa's going to struggle. Whatever it may be, you know, however you sort of map this out. And then all of a sudden, yeah, we saw that the tiebreaker in 2023. Yeah, the Premier 12 just recently where Chinese Taipei beat Japan. Anything.
2 strikes and 2 gone. Jung Yu Chen. That's another one foul. For the first time tonight, you do see a handful of empty seats here at the Taipei Dome, but this team trailing big. 2-2. Full count. Pitch on the way, runner up from first, and ball 4 comes in tight on Chun, and it's first and second with 2 gone in the 8th. And that'll bring up the heart of the order with Che Shen Chun, the captain, stepping in.
You see part of the top step. Is this just a conversation, or you feel like you're going to burn another pitch? You don't want to have to do that. You want your guys to go big lead, just go out and throw strikes.
Nelson Prada, the manager of this team, minor league manager in the Miami Marlins organization, takes the ball from the right-hander Fernando Baez, and he will go to the bullpen here in the bottom of the 8th. Chinese Taipei just trying to fight to stay alive. They got first and second with a new arm coming into the game, 2 gone here in the bottom of the 8th. form takes over on the pitcher's mound for Spain in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Daniel Alvarez inherits the mantle from Fernando Baez, and also inherits runners at first and second. With 2 gone, going to work against the captain of this Chinese Taipei team, Chishen Chen. Chen, who was the superstar, the hero in Chinese Taipei's Premier 12 championship run back in November. Trying to make something happen here in the 8th, but he's going to come up empty as the pop out to second settles into the glove of Edgar Rondon and wraps things up in the bottom half of the 8th inning. It has been all Spain tonight, a rout of Chinese Taipei as we go to the 9th. 12-3 our score. Spain trying to close out a night 1 victory in the World Baseball Classic qualifier. The 7th reliever will take the ball to open the 9th inning. Dongming Lee will get things started in this likely final frame of regulation baseball. So we welcome you back to the Taipei Dome on a Friday evening here in Taiwan. The first pitch blown by Carlos Colmenares, the Tampa Bay Rays prospect, who finds himself in an 0-1 count. Dongming Lee, the 8th pitcher of the night for Chinese Taipei. I have officially run out of lines for pitchers in my scorebook.
Yeah, and look, some of these guys pitch tomorrow, therefore not available Sunday. Again, I know they're all under 30 pitches. However, man, you blow through it like this. Spain puts you 9 runs deep. And Tyler, I'm telling you right now, if this keeps up in regards to the next couple of days, in regards to the inability to get guys out with 2 strikes or throw strikes essentially from this pitching staff, man. Question themselves is bringing in this young team, making that decision.
Play such a big factor.
So a lot of guys, look, sub 30. It means they can pitch tomorrow. But you go that the one that's highlighted, the 2 consecutive days. You're going to have a couple guys, regardless of South Africa, how easily you think you're going to beat them on paper. How much stronger of a team you are. Some of those guys are not going to be available Sunday.
Being that I am a sports broadcaster, one of the reasons why that is because I'm bad at math. I don't have transferable skills for real jobs, but I miscalculated the amount of, this is 9 pitchers, 8 relievers, 9 total pitchers used tonight by Chinese Taipei. And You talk about the amount of pitches obviously being a factor. Back-to-back days is a very big factor.
Yeah.
Pitch on back-to-back days, there's mandatory rest that follows that. This becomes a really difficult puzzle to manage now, to find the right pieces if you're Hao-Ju Tseng. As a one-out walk goes to Andres Angulo here. This is as bad of a scenario after day one as things get for that man right there, Weiping Lin, and the manager Hao-Ju Tseng of this Chinese Taipei team.
And look, not getting ahead of ourselves at all, but let's say tomorrow South Africa, let's say they have a couple good at-bats, or a situation where, yeah, you got one of your veterans. Give you an example. A guy in Yen Qing Lu who came in pretty much to put the fire out and couldn't, it turned into a disaster. You have that 2 or 3 times, and you're in trouble when you're talking figuring out Sunday and navigating your way through.
Two balls and no strikes on a former consensus top 100 prospect in baseball. Long-time Texas Rangers prospect, the former big leaguer Beltre has a catch made on a looping liner out to second. A nice play out there by Zhe-Wei Lin. Throw to first was not in time to double up on Gulo, but great job by Lin not to give up on that play as Beltre is retired.
He's showing some of that plus defense we saw when he made his way up to the major leagues. Yeah, really nice play, just staying with this, just cutting those steps down, really doubling off. And Gulo at first base.
2 gone now, and it brings up the new second baseman into this game, Edgar Rondon. Wander Encarnacion exiting, and we'll get an update on his status after the game tonight. Trying to beat out a double play ball, and he kind of crumpled past the first base bag. It moved Carlos Colmenares over to third base, and Rondon entering this game and taking over at second, and a check swing is a called strike 3 on the swing, and that will do it for Spain here in the top half of the ninth. Chinese Taipei, miracle as they trail this thing by 9, going to the bottom of 9. Three outs remain for Chinese Taipei to try to happen tonight in trailing in a stunner. A 9-run deficit for the world's number 2 ranked program. As we head into the bottom of the ninth, Yu Chang has been the lone highlight generator of the night for Chinese Taipei. His 2-run homer in the bottom of the 3rd inning Turned a 4-0 deficit into 4-2. Felt like we were going to have a ball game, and since then, Chinese Taipei has had basically nothing. Got one run in the bottom of the 7th to extend this game. Would have been a mercy rule game otherwise. But here in the 9th, trailing by 9 on the opening night of this World Baseball Classic qualifier. You said he's going to have to summon all of that leadership ability after tonight to talk to this young team about the fact that an effort like this, I mean, he can't have another one of these.
Yeah, that's right. And again, I guarantee you, I'm not saying it's going to be a State of the Union or anything like that, but there's going to be something said just to sort of break the ice. See, guys, players to look each other in the eye, especially some of these first timers wearing that Chinese Taipei uniform. So I guarantee you, look, we've seen him in this role. He's been a really good team captain. We saw him. Just something quick, just something where you get on the bus and go home and feel pretty good about tomorrow.
One of the lone bright spots in this lineup for Chinese Taipei. It's the 3rd hit of the night for the veteran Yenting Wu. 31-year-old corner infielder. RBI single in the 7th after his double that followed Yu Chang's homer in the 3rd. And now a single here in the 9th. And we'll get a pinch hitter here out of the 6th spot in the order, in the person of man, 9 pitchers in this game for Chinese Taipei. Looked at their starting catcher, Yu Chang, fairly early in this game. After 6 innings, this was already seemingly well out of hand. It was 12-2 at that point. You know, I adopted that coach's cliche, manager's cliche. Get some time off your feet. Nobody ever said it's a good coach-manager line from one foul back. Waiting on a 1-2 pitch, and he takes a called strike 3 on a beautiful breaking ball over the outer part of the plate from Daniel Alvarez. And Alvarez in Spain are 1 out away from a monster opening night win here at the Taipei Dome.
Rosso coming in from the bullpen, saving some of those bullpen arms. To go with it.
So with 2 gone and Wu over at first, Zhiwei Lin, a 2-for-4 night to this point for him, the former Boston Red Sox. Double with 1 out of the 2nd inning for Lin, a single leading off the 6th, and was left on base each time. 2 balls and a strike on him. We have just passed the 3-hour mark. And Ryan, to the point that we made earlier about, well, if you extend this thing a little while longer, you got to find more arms to get you through the 8th and 9th. Chinese Taipei did end up using an arm in each of those innings, Junwen Chen and Dongming Lee. There's 2 more arms you have to be mindful of using again tomorrow, because if you do, those guys have a mandatory day of rest. It's going to be really interesting to see the way Hao Ju-sung and Wei Feng Lin and Chen Ming Wang, the former big leaguer who is the bullpen coach for Chinese Taipei. Interesting to see the way they try trying to manage this thing over the next couple days. And Siwei Lin takes ball 4. He's on for the 3rd time tonight. Just a visit to the mound here. This is Spain's pitching coach, Manuel Oliveira.
Giving that man just a little bit extra time. You certainly don't want to have to burn another arm right here, that is for sure. A lot of nervous fans, a lot of nervous players, coaches. Right now, just thinking about this decision. We're plenty capable, don't get me wrong, but especially coming off that monster success in the month of November.
Down the right field line, that's a fair ball, and it's going to be extra bases for the 8-hole hitter Po Shun Wong, rounding 3rd base and then holding there late. Siwei Lin, Yensing Wu scores, and it is 12-4 now in the bottom of the 9th.
They will not go quietly. This is the other thing too. Some of these at-bats, you can start getting a little lackluster because you know about the fact you're not going to come back. You start getting your head around tomorrow. However, finish on a positive note. Finish on a little bit of energy, that little gesture, that non-verbal back into the dugout. Go into South Africa 24 hours from now.
Another pinch hitter for Chinese Taipei, Chung Rui Sung, another CTBC Brothers product. And I know that is spelled Chung J-U-I Sung, but that is pronounced Ray.
Believe it.
One slips through the legs of Lino, and the wild pitch will bring in the 5th run for Chinese Taipei.
Yanking that ball, no chance, knock that down. On the flip side too, if you're Spain, you don't want any little frustration at the end of this one. Take care of business, get off the field. Regroup for that noon game tomorrow against Nicaragua.
That's a very good point, as the 2-0 is fouled. I mean, if you're Spain right now, the longer you're out there trying to get this last out, that's the less time you're back at the hotel resting up for tomorrow for that quick turnaround.
That's right.
Po Shun Wong over at 3rd, 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. And Chinese Taipei down to its final strike here in the 9th. Daniel Alvarez trying to finish off this win. 2-2 pitch. Fly ball, shallow left. This actually barely escapes the infield as Colmenares puts it away, and Spain rolls into the Taipei Dome and deals a knockout blow on night number 1 to the home team.
And they're absolutely in the driver's seat. You just knocked off the favorite. You have got South Africa. Africa on Sunday. You are in such a good position if you are Spain right now. For Chinese Taipei, look, you burned through a ton of pitches. You've got to be very economical tomorrow night against South Africa. You look at that matchup, you feel like on paper you are so much better than that team, but man, what an upset. This crowd goes home just kind of stunned right now. A lot of second guessing may be happening, but if you're a veteran player on this Chinese Taipei team, you've got to regroup, get get those chins up, come back and take care of business tomorrow.
So tomorrow, 2 more monster games loom as Chinese Taipei will try to rebound from a night 1 loss, and Spain will try to move 1 step further to the 2026 World Baseball Classic. Final lines in this one: 12 runs on 15 hits and 12 runs on 15 hits and 1 error for Spain. 5 runs on 11 hits. No errors for Chinese Taipei, but the home team behind the 8 ball after night number 1. We will say goodbye for the final time on this Friday evening from Taipei. Spain on to tomorrow afternoon to take on Nicaragua with a 12 o'clock local time first pitch, and Chinese Taipei back in the night game will square off with South Africa.